All right, well, here we are. We're at the Breckenridge State Park in Texas, and basically we're coming through today because I want to take a walk down the trail today, but at the same time I want to feature a product that is a DJI product that is normally used strictly for vlogging, and I want to see if we can make a more cinematic B-roll with it. Now the device I'm talking about is the brand new DJI Nano. This is one of the ones that actually came out a couple weeks ago, or not even a couple weeks ago, probably about a month ago. And I've been using it strictly for vlogging, and I want to actually test this out and see exactly how it does as far as like a cinematic B-roll. I'm going to tell you what settings I am using. First of all, I am using D-Log M on this, since this device will shoot in D-Log, so we can color grade the video footage later. Just kind of get out here, see what we can do. This will be a walk and talk. You can actually see me doing the actual filming process, and then towards the end of the video I will show you all of the B-roll compiled that was shot on the DJI Nano, and we can kind of make a judgment from there as to whether or not this would actually make a good camera for capturing not just vlogging, but cinematic stuff. So for the first part, we're going to actually mount this up directly to a tripod, and I wanted to use the DJI quick mounts. I've got about 95% battery on this, so it should be plenty for me to walk through this trail area and grab a few shots to make it kind of like a cinematic B-roll. So I guess we'll just move this out of the way, and for our first shot we want to get kind of walking into the trail. Then we do a lift up and reveal. That looked really good. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk towards the camera and step over it. You can see it sitting right there. Now that we've got that done right there, I'm going to flip the camera around and then do the same move again. And done. So for the next part of this, we're going to be walking down the trailhead some. There were some people coming back there. Didn't want them to walk up and see me doing a bunch of camera stuff, or cameras laying out in the middle of the trail. So we're going to walk this way and see what I can find. And this is the trail that I'm walking. Beautiful, beautiful area. Sometimes it's just better to let the people finish walking, let them go by so that we don't have to worry about anything. Let them get a few 100 feet up ahead of me, and then I can actually do the video stuff without having to worry about it, because they got little kids, and little kids are pretty grabby when it comes to camera gear. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty out here. Look at this. That was almost a B-roll thing too. So back to it. As you can see, that's our trail that we're going down. So now that we've gotten one walking into the trailhead, let me get one of like a walk by. Camera's down right here. Put this guy down. Right here, you can see some of the stuff that's over here. And now we just walk by it. Super simple shot that basically lets us know that this is the direction we are going. Up ahead there is a small bridge that I want to get some shots of. We're coming into a clearing right here. I'm going to do a pan around similar to what I did with this camera and catch some of that sunlight that's coming through the trees over here. You guys can see it behind me. Get off the trail a little bit. So that's the sunlight right there. Might be a little bit too much sunlight. I want it coming through the trees. right there. Right there, that's where I want. That way I can just get a little bit of that glisten. I'm going to turn the DJI around so I can keep an eye on the monitor. And now I'm going to start low, come up high, and then slowly go to the trees. And then back around. And now we have our direction established again. This is the direction I'm going to be going. Take a look. Those beautiful little berries all over the trees here. Do not eat these. You know what? I'm going to do that as a shot too. Keep it moving. Back down to the trail. And move forward. And when you're going out and doing vlogging style like this, or trying to do like B-roll footage, it's always a good idea to just have fun with it. Sometimes you can have a script, have something scripted out, especially if you know the area you're going to be in. I do know this area, however, I did not have a script because, in all honesty, I just had an idea. It popped in my head and I wanted to go out and have fun and do something with it today. And just to get out of the house for a while. Possibly create a nice looking video. And yeah, pretty cool. Now, coming up over here, I've got an old church that I want to go and look at that's actually part of the Breckenridge Park system. And so let me flip the camera around, and that's the church. So that's the old church right here, as you can see right now. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take the camera and I'm going to kind of push in on the building of the church and walk around it. Push in. And then we'll come up to the front of the church, which has this beautiful little walkway. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to set my camera down. Set the camera down to get a good shot of the building. I can see it right there. And then me walking directly up to the building and then turning around. And that's our shot there. Okay. A lot of doing B-roll is doing back and forth walking. Definitely get your exercise doing this type of stuff. Now I want to shoot it from my perspective, so basically if I'm standing here in POV perspective, I want to take a look up. Here's the camera. We're going to go up, down, and then we're going to swing to the end of the driveway. And the interesting thing about this building here, one of my friends was actually married in it, and it is actually part of the state park, but this church is in the middle of the state park. It's not used for services or anything like that. People can rent it out, use it for weddings, ceremonies, and things like that. A good friend of mine was actually married here, Rob, and made for a really nice wedding. Old building. It's out in the middle of it. It's actually kind of cool. Back to the trail. Now, sometimes you just kind of get a little bit creative. You can see these pond frogs right here. They're just kind of laying there, but they've got like a little overhang that would be perfect to put the camera underneath and me walk by them. So I think that would actually be kind of fun. Let's do that. Let me see what this kind of looks like. Tilt this forward a little bit. Oh yeah, that gives an interesting view of the right underneath there. It's got the main focal point on the fronds. Let's try this real quick. And I will gently brush them as I walk by. Oh, that probably looked really good. We'll find out though when we get back and start processing some B-roll. And the good thing about it is I'm shooting this all in order, so all my B-roll should actually be really good and in order whenever I get back to the house. Now just now I shot a little bit because I was in this little bit of a clearing right here where these trees and stuff kind of make an overhang, almost like a bridge. So I started the shot right here, and let me flip the camera around and show you similar to what I did. So we were looking down the trail, and then I slowly panned it up. As you can see, right up there, coming through the light. And then I panned it down, but did it with this one to kind of see what it was doing. Super slow motion. Beautiful, beautiful little area right here. And I love the way that those kind of hang over like an awning, a bridge over the trail. That's super cute. I don't see any mushrooms this time. Last time I came out here, there were tons of mushrooms like around the bases of the trees. They're really pretty. A lot of them are red caps, so we don't eat those, but they were still gorgeous. Up ahead is the bridge. Small little bridge. Kind of goes over a little area of the park that kind of floods. The upkeep on it hasn't been that great this past few years. I would really love to see them come in and do something with this and actually make it look a little better. But basically what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to actually put the camera like on the end of the bridge facing me. That way I can see it, and I'm going to walk towards it. I'm going to do 2 or 3 different angles of shots on this one spot. Let's go ahead and set this camera up so you can kind of see what we're doing. So that's the bridge. You can see it right there. First shot. Since the bridge is kind of wonky, I'm going to set it up right here, lower down, so I can see it's recording. And then I'm going to have me coming, walking up to the bridge. I'm going to finish the whole pass, go right over the camera. And then I'm going to take the camera and set it right here. Tilt it up a little bit. And now I can see that spot. Do the same walk. Okay, so we got that. And now I'm going to set the camera up over here. And then we're going to come and do the exact same walk again. And then for the final shot, I'm going to take it off of the transmitter or the receiver, the mirror, and I'm going to put this down super, super low, like that. So you can see the boards, the nails and everything. And then I'm going to do the exact same walk again. Now, turn the power off. So what, 4 different shots right there. I can chop that up like 1 second, 2 second shots, bunching all of those up together to make one complete reel. On to the next location. Now, this area right here I really like because it's got a lot of the big, large vines, grapevines. You can see them right here. Some of those big, long vines going right there. Really cool looking, so I'm going to get some shots of that. Haha. And now, now we got our direction to go back down into the trail. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually use this thing and try to, little POV, me walking with it. And then I'll flip it around. And now that I've stopped right here, we're going to flip this back around because I've stopped. Kind of gives like a point where somebody's going to be, why did I stop? Well, we're going to show the opening going up through the trees. Bright sunlight right there. Back around to the trail. Just taking in all of nature. And ta-da, back to our direction. Now when I do the piecing it together, I will probably have some quotes from Thoreau in it, from his book Walden. Amazing book, talking about the benefits of getting out into the nature. He actually did a year-long experiment where he left the city and all that stuff and went to live for an entire year out in the wilderness. And it was an experiment of how it affects the human mind. What benefits does it have? And he had amazing benefits from it. He loved it. Loved it enough to write a book about it. The book is called Walden. I own several copies of it. And it's an amazing book. And so, like I said, when I do the B-roll footage, it's probably going to be quotes from that book talking about getting back outside, getting into nature. State park, I am glad to see that. That is a trash can. People need to use them. So we're going to carry on with our adventure, but I want you to take a look up here because this is a beautiful, beautiful area as well. It's hard almost to tell where the trail goes because there's a Y here and a Y that goes the other way. But look at some of the fell trees, the natural habitat, the berries and stuff. There have been times I've come out here and been filming and actually had deer just walk right across my path. Beautiful area. But what I want to do right now is I want to set the camera up, and you'll notice that this takes a curve that way, goes back that way. I want to set this camera up to actually catch me walk around that curvature. Let's see what we got right here. And I want to kind of do it. Yeah, there we go. We're going to catch those bushes and stuff right here. All right. And we're just going to walk. And then we're going to casually go around the bend and out of the camera view. And then we got to go all the way back and get the camera. That's my least favorite part, going back to get the gear. Now, this area right here, really nice as well. I want you to kind of take a look around. Ooh, those trees, but wide open area. You've got the grapevines. They're just all through the trees. Beautiful area. So I'm going to do a similar pan like what I just did right here, but with this camera. And back down. You know, sometimes I just wish, instead of me talking on camera, I could just sit there and point the camera at everything because it's so pretty. I know you guys would really enjoy it out here. Now I want you to look right in there. That area right there, it's all kind of, almost looks like a dome. Right inside of there, you can kind of see it. That is actually like a little area where like deer and doe and maybe sometimes hogs and stuff kind of like just chill out, and that's where they lay down at night. So I think for the next part of this video, we're gonna go over to the gazebo and actually get some good footage over there. little cinematic, and we'll end it up with looking out over the lake with some of the birds flying. So this trail goes down another half mile. I will not planning on doing that much of it today because I want to get a little bit of different views and scenes of the park. So let's head back out the way we came in. Okay, so I stopped on the trail right now because I wanted to show you this. This is actually very fresh. Right there, all that's a little armadillo has been digging in here and digging for grubs and worms and stuff like that. That's really cool because you got another little spot right there. So he probably came in, dug a little bit right here, dug a little bit right here, didn't find what he needed, and then headed off back into there. Yep, that's nature. One of the times I spent the night out here, we had raccoons that were actually trying to get into my ice chest, and it was really neat until they stole my chocolate bars from my s'mores. Then it no longer became neat. Anyways, I digress. Let's continue on so we can finish shooting this video, head back to the house, get some editing done, and answer the question, can the DJI Nano shoot dramatic, cinematic style B-rolls? All right, so we're coming back to the trailhead entrance, and you'll be able to see that where I have actually parked over there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to drive to that side of the park over there, which is right on the lake. There is a beautiful gazebo over there that I want to get some video footage underneath, and we'll see how that works out. And for the next part, as you guys can see, there's the lake. It's got the beautiful sunlight shimmering off of it. And here's the gazebo. Beautiful area. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here. I want to get a few shots overlooking the lake. Wind is blowing. Hopefully my wind muffs are keeping that hiss down a little bit. But there we go. Beautiful area. So for the first part of this shot right here, I'm going to set the tripod up so you can see how I'm going to do this. We're going to be using this. I'm going to kind of come low and then a reveal. Ooh-wee, that wind is whipping. It's actually whipping this tripod around a little bit, but that's what we expect coming off of the water there. I'm gonna do one more shot real quick, coming up over my arm. And now I'm gonna bring the shot to where it looks like it's looking at me. So let's turn this around so I can see the monitor. Okay, so we have that shot. Now, I want to go over there and actually check out some of the wildlife if it's still around. Now, here's the funny part. This shot you're seeing right now of me walking and talking is a duplicate of a video I did 4 years ago in this exact spot, talking about journaling, the benefits of writing down your thoughts and stuff. It's actually pretty kind of cool. So we're gonna go over to this area up here and see if there's any birds. I didn't realize there was a guy standing on the shore back there. But anyways, this is the exact same area I was in 4 years ago when I did this video footage. So, kind of cool. The lake is low. Let's walk down there. Normally you wouldn't be able to walk this far down away from up there because the lake is usually almost all the way up to the grass line over there. But I think this would make another final establishing shot right here, to have this camera close to the ground catching some of those waves coming in. Now you'll notice in that shot right there, I was not worried about the camera getting wet because the top part of the DJI Nano is water resistant. So you don't have to worry about it. You can actually get it wet. So we got top part wet. I think that's going to be a beautiful shot. I'm still recording on it. A beautiful shot to kind of close it all out with. So there we go, guys. Let's run back to the office, start compiling all this, and drop a comment below if you want to see some other stuff done with these little mini cameras. I have both the DJI Nano and the Insta360 Go Ultra, and I think there's a lot of potential for these devices to be used not just for vlogging, but for cinematic stuff too as well. So yeah, subscribe, like, comment, and the next clip you're going to see is all the footage from this guy right here compiled into a small cinematic. I'm going to compile it whether it looks cinematic or not because I want you guys to see the output. And drop a comment below and let me know what you think about it. So, peace. Hey, you guys remember that little armadillo I told you about? There he is right there. Hey, little guy, what are you doing? You better get out of the road. Still in the state park though, so nobody's gonna run him over. But he's actually kind of cute. Look at that.
There is a kind of peace that doesn't speak in words. It breathes, it drifts. It gathers in the spaces between leaves, in the tremble of a quiet pond, in the slow exhale of a world untouched. Thoreau called it Walden, but really, it is anywhere the earth remembers itself. When I step into the woods, it feels as though the world loosens its grip on me. The noise slides away, like a coat shrugged off, and suddenly I am lighter, smaller, yet somehow more whole. Nature doesn't pull me apart. It puts me back together, piece by piece, with a patience I do not deserve. The trees stand like old monks, tall, still, unbothered. They do not preach, yet they teach. They whisper in a language older than memory. Slow down. Look closer. Be here. And I do. For once, I do. The pond, still as glass, becomes a second sky, a place where clouds swim instead of drift. Thoreau wrote that he could see himself clearer in that water than in any mirror. And I believe him. Because out here, reflection is more than an image. It is a revelation. When the mind finally quiets, truth rises to the surface like a fish stirring beneath the ripples. There is a gentle holiness in solitude. Not the lonely kind, but the kind that wraps around you like morning mist. Soft, forgiving, endlessly patient. Solitude in nature feels less like being alone and more like being understood. The earth does not ask you to be anything but present. It doesn't demand you hurry. It simply invites you, again and again, to listen. Listen to the wind threading itself through pine needles. Listen to the heartbeat of water against the shore. Listen to your own breath wandering out into the open, finally unafraid. And in that listening, you begin to hear life the way Thoreau heard it. Not as noise, but as music. Not as chaos, but as rhythm. Every rustle, every ripple, Every bird song becomes a verse in a poem that includes you, but does not revolve around you. How humbling, how freeing. We spend so much of our lives in motion, chasing clocks, chasing screens, chasing versions of ourselves that never seem to arrive. But out here, in this cathedral of branches and breeze, time doesn't chase me. It walks beside me, slow, steady, barefoot, and somewhere between the shimmering leaves and the warm chorus of sunlight and the simple act of standing still, peace finds me, not as a treasure, not as a reward, but as a quiet companion returning home. Maybe that is the heart of Walden, the courage to be small, the grace to be quiet, the wisdom to be exactly where your feet touch the earth. And when I leave the woods, because we always must, I carry its hush with me, a soft reminder hidden like a seed in my chest, that peace is not distant, not rare, not fragile. It is waiting, always, wherever the quiet lives, and wherever we are willing to meet it.